Okay, let's start. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for tonight's Science Café. My name is Daniela Vervloed, and I represent Czech Center Brussels, one of the co-organizers of the event. I'm glad to welcome you to what promises to be a fascinating discussion, hopefully, on the topic of tactical urbanism at this, for us, pretty new location here at VUB. For those who may not be familiar with the topic, tactical urbanism is an innovative approach to urban planning that emphasizes short-term and low-cost interventions to improve our cities and life in our communities. It empowers citizens, urban planners, cities, and local organizations, whose representatives we will have here on stage tonight, to collaborate and create meaningful change in their environments. In a world where urban areas are constantly evolving and facing new challenges, from climate change to population growth, we felt like tactical urbanism is a topic we want to address since it offers a flexible and innovative way to address these issues. But before I give the word to our moderator, Lieve de Cock, I wanted to remind you that we very much appreciate and encourage active participation on this evening. Feel free to ask any questions you may have. We will have a Q&A session afterwards. You might see this as an opportunity to learn, to share, and perhaps even get inspired to start a tactical urbanism project by yourself in your own community. And of course, I would like to thank you all the co-organizers of this evening, namely Czech Liaison Office for Education and Research in Brussels, representation of the South Moravian region to the EU, and representation of the city of Prague to the EU. But without any further delay, let's get started. Please join me in welcoming our speakers, Kristina Ullmannová, Marie on the stage, and of course our moderator, Lieve de Cock, and I will leave the rest to Lieve. Fingers crossed. Enjoy the evening.
Thank you. So good evening for my part. Well, like was said, in this contemporary world, our cities are constantly growing and developing, and we are changing ourselves, we all know, going from the 20 years to the 30s to the 40s. It is crucial to focus on creating environments that are inclusive and sustainable for all their inhabitants. So for us, as designers, but also for, let's say, the normal people, this tactical urbanism represents an innovative approach to the rapid and effective transformation of public spaces, with the aim of creating cities accessible to all residents. And all residents, what does it mean? It means regardless of their age, regardless of their gender, abilities, or social status. Inclusive, as the main topic I think that we should take into account. It has thus become an important tool for the swift and flexible transformation of public spaces to create barrier-free cities. Placemaking, we all know that placemaking for people, but also with people, helps building up a community, bringing awareness about several topics that influence the quality of life. One could say, okay, a nice story, nice theory, but how do we do this in reality? Is it really a universal language in a social, cultural, age and gender mixed reality? Who takes the lead? The initiative? Is it growing bottom up or is it coming or proposed top down? And does it matter who took the initiative to guarantee a positive outcome? How to write the common story? How to make that everyone is involved? And how does it start then? Is it an experiment? Is it a temporary change? And can we state that it evolves often, sometimes, or never to a permanent change? But was it just a nice topic, nice thing to do? Is there a limit in time? are there tools, are there methods, are there techniques? And what are the obstacles and how to overcome them? And I can go on and on with a lot of questions, and supposedly you will also have them. But I hope that our two expert speakers, that they will show us the way. On your left side, there is Marie Joya, and she's an academic of the Faculty of Architecture at Brno University of Technology, with a research focus on the temporary use and activation of abandoned spaces. So, ideal guest, I think. In addition to her academic pursuits, she is also the founder of Studio Archipop, an architectural practice dedicated to placemaking and transient interventions. So there is the academic and the private part of a story to be told. At her right side, there is Kristina Ullmannová. Kristina is the head of the Public Space Office at Prague Institute of Planning and Development, IPR, like you. I was told when I went there with a colleague of me when I went visiting Prague. And as an architect and an urban planner, she holds a PhD from Czech Technical University in Prague, which is also interesting. So we get a bit of the theory, analytic part also in the speakers duo. And after a career in the private sector and an international experience from Catalonia and US, she currently leads the Public Space Office in its efforts of creating livable and walkable public space, adapting the city for climate change and focusing on a sustainable solution in a city environment with a wide range of interests. As you can hear, I think we are blessed that we have both of them. And I give the floor to you, or the stage to you.
So, good evening. Thank you for the nice introduction. Thank you for the invitation. I'm really glad I can be the part of this discussion this evening. And I hope I don't disappoint you in answering all the questions you ask, because these are really like the questions we are burning right now when we are talking about public space and how to use it. Yeah, sorry, it's more slower than I expected. So, as it was mentioned, today I'm here to represent the Faculty of Architecture of Brno, and the studio I founded, we named ourselves Archipop because we concentrate on pop-up in architecture. And today I'd like to connect the topic of tactical urbanism with the research we are working on at the faculty, and also with some practical examples how to communicate these kind of changes in the public space. Maybe to start from wider topic. Last week, and we were talking about it before this discussion, I was in the mountains on a bike, and as you may be aware, all of you, when you are in the forest, the cycling is freedom, it's independence, it's really, you can go wherever you want, fearlessly, right? There are no obstacles, and you can really enjoy your free time. And I ask myself, why can't we do it this way in our city, in Brno? Because there are so many obstacles when you want to ride the bike in the city. And I must say, as an adult, I am aware of the traffic, of all the cars which are going there. But when you take the children in this kind of heavy traffic, you realize that you are so stressed that afterwards you are really avoiding to take them in this kind of city. And I think it's really a shame. And I think we have to change the point how we look at the cities, at the Brno, my hometown, to make it more for the people, with the people, and to create livable cities and start with the children. And I would like to start with defining what is tactical urbanism for me. It's very fast action, which you can see immediately the feedback of the people who use the space. It's defined as a locus intervention, and it's also, it's not just that you do something and then on a permanent phase there is something totally different, because tactical urbanism is giving us the chance to experiment, to do different kind of intervention and to see what could be the proper solution of the problem we are defining. And here is a picture of my favorite Czech studio who concentrates on the public space. They call themselves U/U Studio. They also do some foreign interventions, but their basic motto is that there is also something little can cause a really huge impact. And this is quite fancy project of just little interventions on a cycling track. And the thing was that, for example, they painted a handrail. They gave it the paint. They added some small temporary benches there, and they let the people to choose in their creative way of using the space, and the people really do. And when we are talking about tactical urbanism, we can also define it as a guerrilla urbanism or pop-up urbanism. It means that we, as we mentioned, do something really fast, and we experiment with the way of changing the public space. This Prague example is very popular, we know it. There is an organization, and they try every year to do something special on a huge street in Prague Magistrala. And every year they invite different kind of artists to explore the public space there and to give the people the possibility to enjoy their free time there, their colorful free time, and it really has a huge impact on the lives. And there is the topic of placemaking, which is really closely binded with the topic of tactical urbanism. This is a photo of a placemaking conference which is taking place every year in different European city. This was in Spanish Pontevedra. And the thing is that the aim of the conference is not just to make the presentation about what can happen and make the theory, but they also involve the citizens of each of the cities. They make the intervention in the public space. They had the presentations in the public space. They involve the community, and they try to develop some kind of practical solutions how to make the public space more lively, more suitable for the people, because as Lieve mentioned, placemaking is about making the public space for people and with the help of the people who live there, who use it. And so give them the opportunity to participate in these kind of changes, not only for the permanent ones, but about the temporary ones. And you know the topic of participation, about the style of going from bottom up, about involving the community. And I wanted to mention an interesting thing of participatory budget. This is something which is very popular in the Czech cities right now. It means that a part of the budget of the city is dedicated to a kind of competition where the locals can give in their ideas of a change. It can be temporary, it can be permanent, but it should serve the community. And afterwards, the city, they evaluate if it's really, if the people are really able to realize it themselves. And then afterwards you can vote. And the projects which get the most votes, they win, and they are going to be realized. So this is really a huge step towards like bottom-up solutions in the city. And in our studio, we try to test the methods of communication with the community, because you have to choose a specific language to develop a specific type of discussion, which will reflect the needs of the community and which can involve everybody who is present there in the location. And one of the methods, it's called creative brainstorming. It's an activity with picture cards, and it's based on that. It's called free association game. It means then you have the cards with a lot of pictures, And then you are asked a question about the contemporary state of the location you are solving, or a space you are talking about, then about what you want to have there, or what experience there, and what you don't want to experience there. And you choose a picture which represents your answer, like the most. And we tested it in a project of old brownfield, but also we tested it on a group of professionals, also on the placemaking conference. And I must say, the pictures really help you to describe your answer the most. And you describe it in a lot of details, and a lot of people, or all of the people, were surprised how much the pictures force them to express their ideas about the space. Another topic or method is cultural mapping. In general, this mapping or this researching of a specific space is based in general on a geographic map, but our team tried to apply this kind of research on an institution. What you can see, this is the result of a research our students did, and they researched an institution whose primary aim is to help people in need. And this is a building where they supply people in need with material stuff they really need. And the aim of the whole research was to map or to describe the identity of this kind of institution, to stress the vibrancy, the diversity, and authenticity of the space they are right now. And the research was based on interviewing the people who attend there, the people who volunteer there, to see the values and the perspectives for the future. So we revealed a lot of principles which can be used for the future development strategies of this kind of institution. And we try to describe the current state with the help of this graphical, we call it map. And people can really see what is happening right now, and they can more visualize the things they want to change or they want to develop. And the last method we are using, I choose the design build. It's the style of teaching when you have a specific location, specific site, and the task of the students is to have the direct interactions with the people who use it or who are passing through the site, and to develop to define the problems and to develop the solutions, how to solve this problem with the help of architectural design, of some kind of architecture solution, and not just to develop it in a theory, but also to develop it in reality. So this is the result of their workshop, because they finally choose one project which was realized there. They are talking about not only about the structure, as you can see, it's a wooden circle which should support people to express their opinions. They can meet there. It's really a variety of functions which was included in this kind of design. They also have to develop the construction and also to see and research the feedback of the people. And I must say it's like 5 years, which it was built 5 years ago, and I must say it's still there. And although the locality is not very good, it's some people fear this kind of space, because before there was a lot of homeless people and people who you don't want to interact with. But now there is a lot of children. There is also a festival taking place right close to this structure, and students can evaluate what was the impact of what they did during half of the year. And to make like the final point about the tactical urbanism, I must say we need to learn it, how to use it very effectively, because public space is something which we need more than even than our homes, because it's something we spend our free time outside. We can make their interactions not only with our families, but also with the close communities. And I would end with a citation, which is one of my favorite ones, and it is that a good city is like a good party. People stay longer than they really necessary because they are enjoying themselves. Thank you.
So, good evening. I'm also glad that you've come, and I will show you some cases that we've worked on as an Office of Public Space in Prague, and also with collaboration of other parts of the city. When I will talk about we, so I mean not myself, but the whole collective of our office and even previous members, because everything what we do takes a lot of time. These are long-term projects, and people change, and the projects have ups and downs. I would like to start with a little introduction: who we are, what we do, our values, and the tools. And some of the tools we can talk about them within the range of tactical urbanism and what's today's topic. Our institution, IPR, Prague Institute of Planning and Development, is an independent organization, but is completely financed by the city of Prague and has many tasks. I think that the main of them is really urban planning, city planning. The new metropolitan plan is being done in our institute. Then collecting data. We have, I think that most of our employees are the data people who do the maps and collect various informations about the city. We have the analytical office department, and last but not least, I think is the Center for Architecture and Metropolitan Planning. Within our institute, we have a place where you can see exhibitions, there are talks, lectures, and we can also organize meetings with people within participation or introduction of our projects. I think that what we do, we always have in mind that we have some values, and we have to compare our projects and tasks. If from time to time, if we are still within the values that we have as dear, and very in an abstract way, I think it's that we would like to have a city equitable for all the people, but it's not so easy because the people have different interests and different needs. Livable. This, I think, Maria was talking about, that now we feel that the city as it is not very welcoming for pedestrians, for children, for cyclists. A lot of space is occupied by cars and heavy traffic, and some solutions, traffic solutions that we don't appreciate today as livable. The city should be accessible for all the people with various needs. We should manage the city in a sustainable way. We would like to have a healthy city for all the citizens. And last but not least, beautiful. Safety is a very important value. And also, I said comprehensible, and I think it has a lot of to do with also identity, because we need to understand the place we live in, and this makes the place, the city, dear to people, and they are interested in this place and take care of it. So I think that some comprehensibility of the city is also an important feature. What we do, this is some very short examples. How we are trying to reach the values we are talking about. It can be an example that you have a street and the whole pedestrian space is obstructed by some columns and other technical infrastructure. So we are trying to make it differently, but maybe you can imagine that it's a really hard technical infrastructure. Everything has the base underneath. There are infrastructure like electricity and water and so on. So this looks easy, but it's not. And then an example of an elevated pedestrian crossing, again, more accessible for people with various handicaps. And then we were introducing larger projects. This is an example, a change in the area within the city center of Prague, around the National Museum, where within this space that is really valuable, and in the center we used to have a few years ago places like that, when you have a meter wide pedestrian sidewalk and very ugly environment. And to reach what we are aiming for, I think we are meeting a lot of obstacles. And I think one of them is very natural to public space, that in the public space, naturally people have different interests, different needs, and in our system of projecting and permitting projects, not every of these interests, but many of them have their separate institutions, and you have to comply with their demands. And there is no arbiter, anyone who would coordinate it and who would aim for a balanced public space to negotiate some balanced outcome. And this is our role. We are trying to do that, but it's more or less informal. It's not in the system. Then I think that Prague has especially fragmented governance, because we have each of the elements has a different organization that's managing it, and again, they are in a goodwill. They are following what's the best for their part, but not following the whole context. Then I think that we found out during 10 years of existence of our office that it's very demanding for all the resources to really make a structural change, to move the traffic lanes, to extend sidewalks, to plant the trees. It takes time, a lot of money, and it's not easy to finish projects like that. And one of the risks is also fluctuating support, because as the projects are so long-term, people who probably at the beginning were initiators of these projects maybe are not there, or their support now has aimed for something different. So it's not easy to finish large projects. Here is our favorite diagram of different organizations that take care for each element, like lamp poles, and we have trams also in Prague, so there's a different organizations for trams, and so on, so on. So when you try to move a curb, you have to negotiate with tens of stakeholders. So we are trying to look at public space as a whole, in a holistic way. We are trying to listen to all the stakeholders and cultivate not only professionals, but also the larger general public through lectures and increasing focus on the theme of public space. And I think it's happening, that it's changing, that our effort in that way, I think, brings some fruit. And we are trying maybe that within our institute, it's not so common that it's the city planning institute, but we are very close to action, to real projects, to making the project to come through into realization, into implementation. So the tools of tactical urbanism are really very helpful, I think, in that, because I think now we have to focus on quick change, on something to improve the environment much faster than wait for the whole project, like to the revitalization of the whole street, whole avenue, whole square, because it takes really years and maybe tens of years to come through. What we do, we are preparing strategic methodological documents. We do some pilot projects, like initiators, and other organizations, other parts of the city have to take it and move it to reality. And then also we of course collaborate with the public. Very shortly, some examples of our documents. The project, the surroundings of the National Museum that was done according to our design. This is an example of participation of Karlovo náměstí, Charles Square, within the city center, when we are in the middle of producing a project that hopefully it will come true finally in a few years. So why tactical urbanism? We hope that it's very fast, much cheaper than the structural change. We can try something. Maybe the things won't work, or we can try some options of traffic mode arrangements, and so on. And it's a way how to communicate with the public and professionals. I bring three examples, what I consider have the features of tactical urbanism. The first one is the project of Prague chairs and tables that I think it's already well known. And what is important, that it's a real collaboration with the public, that the city provides the furniture, provides organization, provides some structure, helps with the negotiations, but it wouldn't happen without other stakeholders coming and taking care of the furniture, because this is how it works, how the project is organized. There has to be some local carer, someone who takes care of the furniture, who cleans the surroundings and looking if everything is okay, and he has to, in the evening, maybe to fold it, and so on. So where there is no one like that, there isn't any furniture. We are often asked why the chairs are not there or there, but if there isn't anyone who take care of it, it doesn't work. So there are in various places, some, for example, some local libraries take care. They take part in the open call. This is the university campus. This is within the historical part of the city, Malostranské náměstí. And it's interesting that the chairs are not there anymore, because there was a change in a Café owner, and the new one isn't interested in the project, so the square now is empty. Within the parks, metro stations, and then we also experimented with making it a little bit wider, not just chairs and tables, but to add another layer, and but also make it a little bit more difficult, because the cases you've seen before are only in the space that is already for pedestrians. And this part of the open call was within the space for the cars. So you need to have a lot more work preparing the project, negotiating it, and it was much more difficult. And it was done with the collaboration not only with the local care, but also with the city boroughs. And the city boroughs ask us to help them to organize places like that. And the first one is within a residential area, and it was connected with a piece of art. And this one and the other one is within like a more traditional block city from the 19th century within a square. And this is the first case. It looks now also like that and before. And it was organized like that on the place of the parking lot in front of a grocery store. And the aim was to bring a place maybe even for local markets and sitting in front of the store. But there was some, let's say, substantial backlash in that case. What I think is a feature that it's a residential area, and in places like that that are less anonymous maybe than the city center, people really take care about their environment, and they also are suspicious. And in this case, I think that these people doesn't trust probably their city borough a lot, because several years ago I think that there was maybe too much of development in this city borough, and it's the people really don't like change maybe. And it also was done during the pandemic, and I think that people probably had different scares, and probably was not the right time to do it like that. And so that was a lot of bad press, and we were forced to finish it prematurely. And I think it was a mistake, in my opinion, that finally, when we did the evaluation, it was about half and half. It wasn't, in reality, there wasn't that much of negative reaction, but the people who didn't like it were loud, and for politicians probably they didn't feel that they should support it anymore. So it was somewhat controversial. And the other place looks normally like that. But it's a space that is also used for initiatives that are organized not by the city, but by NGOs. There's an organization called Automat, who's mostly, they are mostly promoting cycling within the city, and they are also organizing 1 day a year when many places are closed for the traffic, and there's a lot of culture events and fairs and so on. And this is the place that takes part in this initiative regularly. And it was supported also by our project, and during summer months it looked like that, and I think that the people really enjoyed it, appreciated it. And this is just examples that we did evaluations, questionnaires with the public. And it's interesting that both projects were more or less half and half. The reactions were half positive, half negative, and but the people, if they were talking about the need of change, I think that they mostly supported some change. But parking places are very sensitive in the city, so they people mostly want to keep the parking, and also to have some trees and greenery and so on. And it's up to us to solve this contradiction. Then another project is Mariánské náměstí, what is a place that several years it looked like that. It was like a parking lot. It's a place in the city center where you have the city hall, you have the city library, national library, so really important place that really invites people to be there, a lot of tourists also, but it really looked like that. And the previous political representation decided to make a permanent change and asked us to prepare a project. And we really involved the public. We asked the people what are their needs, and we connected this with a temporary change. That we closed the square for the cars partly, and again we used chairs and tables and some greenery, and there also was organized some cultural program for the square, and in the meantime, we have some ideas, some project, but today we are not talking about it. So it was finished. The temporary change looked for some time like that, but we had I think some problems on the way that I think something maybe has changed after pandemic, that tourists probably become somewhere somehow more, I don't know, more cheeky. Or, and I think it's also connected, there are many factors. It's also connected with that we had quite a lot of chairs and tables, quite a lot of furniture, and the institutions that are over there, I think it wasn't easy to take care about it. So the local care wasn't that strong, and so all of the furniture was stolen at this place. What is rather exceptional, because the other places are quite okay. There's loss of just single pieces of the furniture, but here everything disappeared. And now it's again a little bit more equipped, and it looks that there is not such a support for the permanent change now. So it's somewhere in the distant future, and it will stay like that probably for many, many more years. We shall see. So it needs care. And it's also a part of this one day in the year when it's an initiative, it's like Live Your City in another way. It's named in Czech, and it's really a bottom-up event that people can bring their own ideas about what to do in the space. And then my last example is the project of Rohan Island, which is not island anymore, but it used to be, and it's like an inner periphery, a place where are some, like an urban jungle and some neglected industrial estates and like sheds and and so on. And it's also a place where already some informal initiatives take place. It's like an informal bar which is there without permission, but it's very popular. And we also were asked to organize their competitive dialogue for the change of the whole area, to make there a park that would be on the bordering, like intensive, extensive landscape. And as a part of preparation of the project, collecting analysis and communicating with the public, we did a lot of work there, and part of them was also an outdoor exhibition connected also with walks and with run and talks and so on. And I think it was very successful, very popular, and this is a specific place that not many people know it, although it's within inner city and area that where there's also a lot of new residential construction. But they know it more like that they are passing through on the bike, but not going anywhere beside the road. And it's a place which is a home for many homeless people also. And there are some informal settlements and little gardens and so on. And so I think it was important to show the people how the area looks like also, and what are the current residents, and also natural features like birds and animals that live there, because not many people know it, and it's difficult to talk with them what they would like to have them there when they don't know the area. So the outdoor exhibition with this in mind, for example, tries to lead the people out of the walk to look more deeper in the area. And we also provided places where to sit. I know that the children, like scouts, make their sessions there. They used it. And we connected with, at some time also with information booths about the preparation of the project. And there were also reminders of the history of the place that is very interesting, and some artistic intervention like these poems, let's say, that were printed on the walks. And there is an example of the walks for the public, and example of the run that has some secret boxes, and the children and people could uncover some new information within the sporting event about the place. Yeah. We would like to keep places for these initiatives, and this is already at the outskirts of the area. Then when it's like a more populated part on Palmovka, and you can all the exhibition already starts here to invite the people more deeper into the area. So I view it that these initiatives are maybe never like only initiated by the residents, but or only by the city. That it's both ways. That you need the people, and the people need the city to cooperate and to work together, because otherwise the things wouldn't move. And so this is my last picture with children within this neglected place, and probably enjoy it quite a lot.
Thank you, Marie and Kristina. For the road trip, I think we saw a lot of references from various type of scales, the very little ones and then the huge ones even. We're heading to the second part of this evening, and there is a third part too, but which is nice. You can grab something to eat. And the second part is some questions. I suppose you also have some. I will just go ahead with one and then try to grab you into the discussion. One that, in fact, it's not only related to tactical urbanism and not only related to the long-term vision. It's clear that today participation is the word that everyone uses. But what is it? It's also abused sometimes. It's just an information point and then they say it's participation. I think the designers in this room know what we talk about. Also governmental institutions know what we talk about. What my question is, there are a lot of tools. I liked, Marie, the ones that you noted as the creative brainstorming with the cards. You can tell me where we can buy these cards or how we can make them ourselves, because I really like the idea. I think it's also useful to get people into the talking, because we're not used to, most of us are not used to talk or to say what we really think, because mostly we don't think. It's by doing that you start talking. The cultural mapping I also liked. The circle, the direct dialogue. But in all these tools, there is still it only works when you get the people around the table or around your tool. And what we see is that the difficulty is to get everyone. We also always missing people. We all know the shouters, they are always there, but where are the silent people? Where are the elderly that don't get to that table because they are not that mobile? Where are the little children that don't have a clear voice yet? How do we grab them in? Or the people that don't speak the language?
Yeah, that's a really difficult question. I must say, for us, when we are testing these things, you need to make it into phases, because there is different language to talk with the children. They really love to draw. They really love to, because their pictures might be really idealistic, but when you see the base, like the basic point they are heading to, it can be very useful. And when you see it from their height, from the eyes, like 1 meter above the ground, it's really, really different. So we sometimes use the so-called kaleidoscopes to lower your sight, so you see what the children see, and they can describe it so you understand what they mean. And when you are mentioning the elderly ones, you really need to switch in the other extreme, because in the Czech environment, a lot of senior clubs exist, and I must say even the most shy grandmas, they are joining it, but they need to have the support like of just the local ones. It should be really intimate discussion, and you can't get the answers on the first try. You really need to visit the community many times, and it can take a lot of time. For example, when we were discussing about the institution of the social need, the students were there for 1 month, 3 times a week, before they get some answers. So it's really time demanding, but when you try really hard, you really get the points you need.
Kristina, you have something to add? Other tools or other tricks to get everybody in?
Well, what I know, for example, in this case of the Rohan Island, we collected contacts of the people through various ways, and kept the contacts, and were sending newsletters to the group of the people who already were interested in the project. And I think that for me, surprisingly, works quite well, that the people are really receiving constantly some information. Because what really bothers me, I think, in this, that it really takes such a long way before you plan something, and maybe you communicate with the public what are the ideas, what are the needs, and then you have really a long process of evolving the project, and receiving permits, and maybe building, maybe not. And so I really feel it's not serious for the people, that they don't know what's happening. So you have to find a way how to be in a long-term permanent contact with them. So it's just one.
Maybe a little anecdote here. The mayor in Brussels, he has a spy in the local, and the spy are the Muslim women or the moms. So when he wants to change something, he asks the moms. Even when there is a lot of noise, let's say in the city center, no, we don't want it, mostly the men, shouters then. I can say it here as a woman. But then he checks with the moms. If they say it's okay, let them shout a bit, it's okay. It's good for the kids, and so for our community, then it will work. When they say, nah, forget it, then it will not work. And then he also doesn't do the effort. So a spy is a good idea, maybe. Maybe another idea of, I had it as a question, what about theft of the temporary constructions or the temporary furniture. Maybe you should choose a more ugly color that doesn't match with that doesn't match on every terrace, so that you can see, that's the yellow or the pink of Ypres, and then and it's clear who took it.
There are little signs on the chairs anyway, but maybe not enough.
Are there questions in the, let's say, of the audience?
Thank you. It's working. Okay. Thank you for your presentation, ladies. I would be interested in the researchal part of the topic. How is tactical urbanism being researched nowadays on academical ground? Thank you.
Also a difficult question. The academic is working very in theoretical way. So I know that there are a lot of publications, a lot of articles researching basically what is being successful, what has been done, and so on. So they are mainly, it's not about applying, but about researching what are the principles which really worked, which are successful, and then we need to make maybe the next step to create the manuals, the step-by-step manual how to apply these successful principles which we research. So I hope there is a more progress going on, because I think this is the topic which the cities need to hear, so we need to translate it into their language.
Maybe the tactical urbanism doesn't need the method, because when we methodologize it again too much, then we lose what is the nice thing about it, that it can pop up because like someone has a nice idea. Just saying, we're always trying to, when we have a good idea, why was it good? Why did it work? And then we note, and then we make criteria and guidelines and whatever. And we try to multiply it, but we're all changing all the time. The world is changing, so it's a battle, the battle of our time and the next times. But maybe related to that, it's the evaluation. Some of these projects worked, some not, but who says it worked? And how do you measure that? Do you beforehand say, okay, when these criteria are fulfilled, then we go for it and then we do it? Or is it just like, okay, there's a Facebook that really likes us and he makes more noise than the Facebook that is against?
We, in some cases, we did the final evaluation with the public. That we, by several methods, by watching that we have people who were just sitting there for some amount of time, for let's say 3 days, and they're watching what's happening there and taking notes, how people use the space, if it's more like just to sit or have a meeting, or if there are older people or people with children and so on. So we have some information, how like an objective watching of the space. And then we also made the questionnaire and just throwing in the post boxes of the people in the area. And some fraction of that came back, but we had something like in hundreds the answers. And there were some questions like, did you like it or not? But there were also open questions, what the people would imagine for the space in the future, what they missed, and so on. So I think we had some feedback in some of the cases, not all of them, of course. And then I think that, for example, on Mariánské náměstí, which is really, I think, a little bit controversial or contentious because of various interests. It's in the city center, Prague 1. The city borough probably has a little bit different approach that the whole city council. It's a place where there is a bus stop. You cannot forbid the traffic completely, and there were some adjustments also for the temporary arrangement of the area, that at the beginning there was less space for cars, but through the time the city borough claimed some space for the cars back. So life also changes.
Is there a question of the audience still?
Hello, good evening. I have just a question, maybe to come back on the, like, how do you think you can increase the participation? Because there are still some people who are more interesting, maybe some people who are more interested in local politics, and there is no surprise that in Czech Republic the participation of the people in local politics and in local life, especially in the cities, is not so high. And how do you think, maybe this more the question to Prague, how to maybe increase the acceptance of the changes, because we also know that there is a automobile lobby, but maybe are not the people who are protesting there. There's always this story, like the people who are more shouting are the people who are coming from the suburbs to the city center and coming there for the work, maybe not especially the local citizens living there. Because, for example, the example of Americká Street at Vinohrady, that's the streets where I grew up, I'm not far away from there, so I know that I still see the cars there, and I was very much enjoying the project, and like with the chairs and tables, it's a project that it's, I think, like in some parts very good, accepted by the population. So how do you think you should like find the acceptance of the broad society? Because we saw one change with the last city government, but with the current city government it came with a change because the people were maybe not that seeing the development as good, or maybe the old people were shouting, the old car owners were shouting. Thank you.
I think you really have to listen to the people, because sometimes they have some needs that probably we are maybe not taking into account. And it's important, I think, that also to identify in the area some important actors, let's say. It could be maybe some shop owners or cafe owners and maybe library, and also local politicians and so on. And I think you cannot just put a stand on the square and ask the passers-by, but you have to be probably more active, like finding different ways how to find active people who maybe don't like to take part in like more public events, but they may answer by email or by some web questionnaire and so on. It comes to my mind that we did another project that also didn't come into reality yet. It's the public space environment within the Czech Technical University, Campus Davice. And it was interesting that we have a huge participation in the virtual world, that not face to face. I was there to lead a walk, and I think that 2 people participated, but on the internet we had something like 5,000 answers. So, and it never happened before. So we also collaborate with like anthropologists and specialists who do like a social analysis of the place and identify who are the people and how to approach them. So I don't think that we are perfect in that we are learning step by step. But and for example, in Rohan, there was also an active communication with schools that are in the area, for example. So you have to identify, you have to map what is in the place and try to find different ways how to approach different groups of people. So, but I think we should learn from Brussels also. And
that I don't know if you should learn from Brussels. Marie, do you have something to add of the experience in Brno? How to make that everyone is happy in the end? Because sometimes we know that a certain change would be good, but people, like you said, don't like change, even though they are not happy with the state as it is now. So, go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, we can say it's participation, we know, because you really need to involve them in different kinds of intimate discussions. And I really appreciate that Kristina mentioned the local actors, because I feel that this is really like the most important part in tactical urbanism right now. Because in Brno right now we were discussing on the city level a square, and there are many public institutions. You have there the school, which has no school parliament, which is quite popular in other cities. And it would really help to shape the opinion of the children, for example. Then there is a pub, you can sit there with the people, different sort of people, and these are like 2 extremes, and there are many, many institutions in the middle. And the local actors, as you name them, these are the people who can or make the change, to make them open and to make them free for the discussion.
So it's a local actor that makes, in fact, it easier because people already trust them. If we come as new ones in an area or in a neighborhood, then you need more time to get people talking to you, because who are you and what will you do for me or against me? It's
and they can help you with which style to approach different categories, different group of people who they know. So you need to make a friend in the local actors.
Luckily, a lot of cities already have this. It's like in Antwerp, for example, it's wijkregisseur, or it's the one that is very close to its small neighborhoods and very close to the people that live there. Mostly, it's also related to more social groups that have it more difficult. So then you have again the rich ones, how to get these ones into it. It's I think for every gender, for every age, for every social status, you need another trick to grab them in. But maybe there, for all of them, the kids are the way to get in. I remember that when I was some time ago in Poznan, there they have like a maître d'architecte for open spaces. And he really took the kids in, for example, it was a street with a lot of cars, and he wanted to take the cars out because he wanted to get the livable streets. But okay, cars out, that means that the whole neighborhood with the car goes in defense mode. And so what he did was, first, he made that the cars could have a place a bit further altogether, parking pocket. freed up the street, and then he gave the kids of the school a tree, and they planted the tree together at where the parking spaces were. So no one of all these parents there to take out the trees, because it was a tree of, and then with the names of the kids, you know. Could be a trick, could be a trick. But these are there, and it becomes, yeah, you make a common story, also a bit by pushing, but you have to do it in a massage way, let's say. Other questions?
Thank you, also from my side. I believe I will have easier questions this time. The first one is actually for Marie, because you mentioned that you have Archipop, the company, if I understood well, and you were talking about pop art. I don't know why, but just came in my mind like 80s, 70s, you know, disco. So I would be just interested, how are you like combining tactical urbanism with pop art and architecture? Is it like about shape or colors, or you are recycling like some stuff from older times? I don't know how to say it. And the other question for both of you is there any like ideal city in Europe you would see as like, you know, the best, how to get there, and maybe we should like follow the strategy of the city or something like that?
Thank you. For the first question, I'm afraid I said it wrong, or you misunderstood, because it was just pop-up, not pop art. But we can surely totally use art in tactical urbanism, on the streets, on the paths, on the roads. So it could be combined, but it was just pop-up. And maybe for the second, I really like Rotterdam. It's like my heart city, because I was working there for a year, and I must say, and it's maybe just one city of the Dutch cities I would choose, you know, but I love cycling, so this is something which is striking my heart when I see that you can bike everywhere, no matter where the cars are. So this is something which really, I felt they're very, very good. And also the urban style of shaping the streets and the design. For example, the yellow urban line through the most of the city. It's such a popular thing, and it's also participation, because everybody could buy their piece of wood, put the name on it. You could have as many as you wanted, and I feel they really found the principle how to do it. People love it. The inhabitants love it. Everybody who comes there, they takes photos, and yeah, it's very popular. So I must say that this is something we are still searching for, and they are so happy they found it.
What is the best example? I can't say that I know all the city and everything, but I think very popular example is the city of Copenhagen, the home city of Jan Gehl, and they are already for something like 30 years, or maybe even longer, applying his research and his approach, his principles, and going step by step. And I think they also do it in a way that people trust them, probably. I think there is generally probably a larger trust between government and the city and the public. So they are, in my way, I think they are not pushing, but they are providing the opportunities for the people, and people learn step by step how to use the city and it's becoming more and more livable and green and really pleasant place to live. But we have also other examples. And maybe, if I may, I was in Bratislava last week, and from one point of view, it's probably not the best shining example of public space and urbanism, but they have quite an active mayor and the city council, and they are quite effectively using these tactical urbanism tools in a way like changing a large parking place for gardens and places for sport, informal sport. And I really liked a place where city owned an old neglected garden, quite a large one, and it was closed for many, many years, like a jungle, and they opened it for public and did very simple ways like wooden sidewalks and little signs there, and it's a magical place, and with quite, I think, easy, cheap way how to change it and how to make it and enjoyable for the public. So it's and they have now this initiative to start with children, like looking at public space through the eyes of the children, what I think is quite good framing and maybe a way how to persuade the general public and focus on their children and their needs and looking at the public space through their eyes. And probably for me a good political move.
I think there was still one, no two, no three. Ooh. Okay.
Hello, my name is Chantal. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us. You have been talking quite a lot about cities, but not about smaller scale cities or villages or anything like that, because oftentimes like villages or smaller communities, they have a lack of knowledge, of money, of support. What would you suggest those communities, as you know, I'm an inhabitant of a village, for instance, what would you suggest for them to do to get to persuade their local mayors or decision makers to show them how important it is to communicate and to make the city or the village or whatever more livable?
It's interesting. I was talking from my praxis because I work for the city of Prague, so I was talking about our experience, and I'm thinking about it. And what comes to my mind, I think in a way that it should be probably a little bit easier in a smaller village, that you probably know your neighbors and know personally your mayor and the councillors, and that all the processes probably are not so complicated and there is that anonymous environment. So maybe what I would see as an initiative, maybe start with something like a little event, like sharing something, sharing meal, or organizing a day in the year where people can join in the center of the village, and everyone can bring some food and talk and something like that, and maybe start knowing the neighbors and talking maybe more to them and asking questions, what they like and don't like, and probably building trust, and in that environment maybe in communication with the neighbors, find some small steps, small additions to the space, what you can start changing. And if the people like it, I think that probably the politicians will also like it, that it's mostly like that. But I understand that it can be difficult, and it really depends on the atmosphere of the place, and every village is different.
In my opinion, when we are talking about these kind of interventions, it's still really a small scale. In my opinion, it doesn't depend on the size of the city. It depends on the size of the community, and about maybe the bonds inside the community, because every community has its events, its not only cultural ones, but also like common places where they gather together. So I think it's just about the progressiveness of the mayor or of the political parties, just to support their local communities. And if you support them, doesn't matter if on the village or in the city, it's still just about the support of its identity and about the events which are there everywhere.
I think that the trick can also be, like I think, Maria, you said it, about the participation budget, that you can, as inhabitants, you can plead or go for your initiative and make an idea of it. Just by making the idea together, you're already doing half of the job. So this could be a good tip or a good suggestion for your mayor. Just foresee a small budget every year, and it's a way to get to know your own village or your own inhabitants, and they get to know each other too. Okay, there was, I think, on the left side, still one.
Thank you very much. I have one remark and one question for Kristina. Firstly, I have read some years ago an interview with the mayor of Bratislava, in which he had said that he had been very much inspired by activities of your institute. So let's say, so it's some kind of circle. And other question, you tackled it a bit, but I would like perhaps to get some more details. You are covering the whole Prague, but there are some parts, boroughs, as you said. So what is the collaboration with boroughs, and let's say how it's organized, and it's good, it's bad? You are, let's say, maybe trying to be more advantageous, and they are, let's say, more prudent. So how it is going?
It's as you said, every borough is different, because maybe if you don't know, Prague has 57 city boroughs with their local elected mayors and councils, and 22 offices issuing building permissions. And the responsibilities of the city boroughs are quite large in that system. So it's a very fragmented system and very, I think, difficult to navigate. And quite often it happens that politics involve in that, because you may have quite easily the mayor of the city borough from a different political party, that the councillor at the large city hall, and there can be some tensions. So it really depends. And it's and I think that also, as I said, the projects are really long term, and the politicians may change within the process. So it brings a lot of interruptions and obstacles. And for me, ideal situation is if the city borough really likes the project, initiates the projects, wants the project, and collaborates on it. So if it's otherwise, it doesn't work very well. So it doesn't bring good results. So you can work with the local people. We work, most of the projects we worked on were initiated by some agreement between local borough politicians and the large city hall. So the initiation was and their agreement. So it's a good situation to start with, but it may change within the process. So these are the risks of the undertaking. So.
I had actually several, but Lieve, you asked all of them, so that's great. I just wanted to also compare in Brussels. You also, I heard several projects being stolen, or of course, sort of vandalized. So it happens all the time. With the chairs, also one of them, they actually nailed them down with very large nails, which functioned actually as a very big invitation for people, tearing them apart with some cobblestones with them and putting them at their balconies or gardens. So it didn't work in this case because there was no participation, I think. But that's linked to my question, did you have time to walk through Brussels? Because you said maybe there's an inspiration to be drawn, or you're not maybe so inclined to be on board with that. But yeah, did you have chance to see the city?
I'm sorry, this time, I was in Brussels something like 12 years ago, but this time I really didn't have time because I've come today, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm sorry, it's a mistake.
We'll invite them, and next time we oblige them to stay the weekends, and then we show them what Brussels is.
But I have to appreciate the program of Eurocities Living Spaces. We have the leader of this program here, Clementine, among us. And we hosted guests from various European cities due to this program. And we talked to them how to better talk to the people besides other tasks. And there was a participant from Brussels, 2 participants, and I think we received quite good advice from them. That I've seen that the participation system, let's say, was somewhat more advanced, and I think we would like to be inspired by that and apply these principles probably in some next project. That they maybe if I can very shortly say what we've learned, that when you organize, for example, an architectural competition, there's a problem that you may participate the needs of the society at the beginning, and then you have a closed process of designing and choosing the best project, and the commission, the jury consists of professionals, and then is announced, here you have your best project, and the public can be surprised, merrily or not that much, and so we've learned from Brussels that they have something like probably some anthropological analysis of the environment, and then choose the local representatives of the public, and they are an equal part of the process.
Of the jury?
Yes.
Never seen.
Yes.
I don't know if the architects in the room here can...
Or maybe...
maybe it's a theory. We have a lot of theories.
But they take part... I don't know if they have...
it would be a good idea, Kristina. It would be a perfect idea. But up till now, I never did a competition where the jury was also, where there was a representative of the neighborhood. Would be better maybe to avoid the complaints afterwards when you did all the study and then go for a permit? No. We'll do it as a suggestion to the maître d'architecte de Bruxelles.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe because I'm watching my watch. I see that we're getting to the third part. I have one question that we don't have to discuss here, but more like an invitation. As a Bruxellois or practical Brussellois, because I'm living in the border of Brussels, working in the center of Brussels, we noticed or we see that tactical urbanism can also be a way of getting people aware of topics. So we in an office, but it's like a side project of the side projects, you know, the ones that you grab when you don't have anything else to do, the normal job. We noticed, so Brussels has the Zenne, the old river, and it disappeared through history, but it's still there on some points, but invisible. So the idea, and now it comes, and how can we make this from idea to realization, and maybe together with some of you. The idea is how can we show the history of Brussels by this river through the city as it is now. Literally, by arts, by whatever. And then how can we really do it? Because we can have nice ideas, but then we have to grab somewhere, some people and money. It's everything, it's all we need. And the idea is mostly not the problem. So if you would like to grab something to eat, and before of that I say thank you for your attention, and thank you for the two very nice lecturers, and answering of the most, sometimes difficult questions. Well, let's discuss and see if we can grab some enthusiastic people of you in this Zenne idea and to do something in Brussels. Have a nice evening.